Hello again, I am Blunty, and with the latest GeForce GTX graphics chipsets from Nvidia, we finally live in a world where a gaming laptop doesn't mean you have to compromise on desktop gaming performance levels. This, for example, is Doom in Nightmare Ultra settings, dancing around triple-digit frame rates, and it's running on a laptop. This one, in fact, the brand new version of the Alienware 15. Now, there's several versions available, as you would expect. The one you see before me, the one Alienware kindly let me borrow before they have to ship it down to Melbourne for PAX Australia next weekend, is the top-end one. It's powered by the Intel Core i7-6700 HQ CPU, stoked by 16GB of RAM, a 1080p display, 256GB of SSD system drive, and a 1TB mass storage hard drive. And rather vitally, to kick around Doom like you just saw, the GTX 1070 GeForce. General connectivity is as you would expect. There's Ethernet, USB 3.0 ports, USB 3.0 Type-C ports, Thunderbolt 3 port, Alienware's own graphics amp port for if in the future you want to hook in an even more brutally powerful external GPU, and of course HDMI 2.0 and mini DisplayPort. And while Alienware have never been much for trying to cram their gear into super slim laptops, frankly, if we're being honest, most of the laptops are what you would call bulky. This is, for Alienware at least, a pleasantly slim package, though the body still is a bit larger than many 15-inch screened laptops, which gives you loads of real estate for your palms, a nice big trackpad, and a well-spaced keyboard, but also means the screen has to have a rather old-school looking thick bezel around it. But the screen within is actually pretty damn glorious, so you do stop noticing the bezel pretty quickly. It really is a very pleasant screen to look at and game on. The touchpad has a nice semi-smooth feel too, and as you can see, it's got a pretty nice party trick of its own, a customizable backlight. Sure, it's not even remotely practical, but I do love it. It's kind of cool, and I don't think I've ever used a laptop with anything quite like it. The keyboard has multi-zone lighting too, including a row of gamer-friendly programmable macro keys, and you can do the neat Alienware thing of assigning color changes to any of the lights to system events, which is actually useful. But the keyboard itself is pretty standard laptop chiclet style stuff, slightly on the spongy side, but not unpleasantly so, and overall a decent typing experience and quite functional in gaming too. The overall design follows Alienware's recent slightly more restrained sensibilities, an attractive dark grey, a few angular design lines here and there, and a few more bits of light up bling. It is a proper gaming laptop that, if you turned off all the lights, wouldn't look too obnoxious in a meeting room if you needed to do double duty as a business and pleasure machine. Under benchmarking loads, temperatures stay within the normal ranges of such machines, stabilising in the high 70 degrees Cs or so, and without making obnoxious amounts of fan noise. Here is what it sounds like as it ramps itself up. Now, beyond the fan sounds, which are under the scrutiny of human ears rather than the microphone and whatever speakers you're listening to me on combination, is a bit high-pitched for my taste, but it is reasonably low in volume, and in fact easily buried underneath the pretty decent kick from its own speakers. It's actually pretty well-rounded sound with lots of volume. The finish is very pleasant to touch, but does tend to grab hold of finger rolls, making ugly but easily cleaned stains. Now, as for raw performance, benchmarking in TimeSpy generates a very respectable 4,783. Valley swims along without bother at just under 70 FPS on average in a 1080p extreme test, and while my time with this laptop didn't overlap long enough for me to try out my new VR headset on it, it is of course well above the recommended requirements for the Rift, the Vive and OS VR. Long story short, it will monster VR easily. Rise of the Tomb Raider, all settings maxed out, benchmarks overall at above 60 FPS, and in-game, in the most demanding environments, stays easily above 40 FPS with every last bell, whistle and knob turned all the way up. GTA 5, similarly maxed out, no switch or slider left unmolested, consistently stays above 60 FPS. Project Cars next, coming as no surprise, it is superb. Maxed out, it glides along like butter on a hot pan. Doom, which we saw at the beginning of this video, it poses no challenge at all to this laptop, kicking the gloriously gratuitous shooter along in triple-digit territory under nightmare-leveled ultra settings, which, given the 8GB of VRAM memory alongside the GTX 1070, is a comparative doddle. And finally, the always brutal Witcher 3. But once more, maxed out, even with the Hairworks stuff pushed right up to maximum levels, beyond even what the default ultra settings do to it, and we're still barely diving down into the high 40s. More often than not, it's sitting happily between 50 and 60 FPS in this very, very pretty game. So, conclusion time. The new Alienware 15 is a damn fine laptop, striking a good balance between being portable without compromising the cooling and venting so important on high-performance gaming laptops like this. It looks pretty nice, lights are off, and with 13 different programmable light zones, it can easily look as obnoxiously to blinking light or as subtle as you like. The screen, as I said, is fantastic, the keyboard is nice, and the gaming performance is it's brutal. You've even got enough grunt here to kick out to a 4K monitor for work or play, though at 4K you'll need to step down the game settings slightly, of course. Highs instead of ultras, I'd expect. Overall, it gets my approval as a laptop worth considering if what you need is something to game on in true gaming master race style, but need it to go from place to place easily too. My down below area is, as always, yours to go play in, so go do the things down there. Meanwhile, I'm Blunty, and I will catch you next time.